tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. Cause I'm having too much fun tryna be myself. No, I'm not the type of chick that like to follow trends. I got a small circle, no, don't need a lot of friends. You know I gotta get this money cause I like to spend. I see you haters watching, so I just give you a grin.
How you guys doing? It's your girl Long Diamond, and I'm back. I'm going to play a little clip of this video. Hopefully I don't get any copyright infringement. We're not really sure. I am but a mere small channel, so maybe I might not get any hits, but we're going to see if they allow me to upload the video, because I want you guys to listen to the clip, and then I'm going to come back on and we're going to discuss it.
For the other staffers, though, I mean, it works both ways, right? They work for the team, too. Like, what's going to be their punishment?
What, for the women?
Yeah.
Well, there's also, we don't have all the details of what happened, but according to the owner of the Celtics, they do feel like they have a right to, and part of it is also, it feels like he was the person that was more in a position of power. And so usually when someone's in a position of power in an organization, you know, that's a potential lawsuit. If somebody feels like I could have lost my job if I didn't do this, you don't know what all the details are behind the scenes.
Well, the only reason I asked is the first thing they put out was that it was an intimate, consensual relationship. Like, there was no talk of, you know, power dynamics and all of that type of stuff. They said it was an intimate, consensual relationship. So there's a team policy. I would just expect both parties involved to be disciplined.
Well, we also don't know all the details, but what some other things that have come out, according to sources, is that he was harassing this woman. So maybe it started off consensual.
Yeah, all that came out after the
we
fact,
don't know
yeah.
all the details yet. So until they confirm some of these things, all we have is speculation. And we can't say what it is. But I will say that the owner of the Celtics did say that they want to make sure that the impact that the past couple of days had on women throughout the organization, that the women feel protected.
Well, yeah, that's because of, you know, the way that it was reported. They put out female staffers, so everybody started speculating. So they started just putting out random women that work on the team and just putting their pictures out and saying, this is the woman. So, yeah, I totally can understand that. But I just hate self-sabotage. Like, it's a damn shame that the brother put himself in that situation. Like, you can't let your penis come before your paper. And you're a black man coaching one of the most storied franchises in sports history. They probably already didn't want you there, so don't give them a reason.
Yeah, and I think just in general, in most organizations, when somebody has a position of authority and power over someone else, you know, starting a relationship, whether or not it might feel like it's consensual, is always potentially a lawsuit, or somebody could feel like they were pressured into something because their position felt threatened. We don't know what it is. And so it's always and like we said, there was a policy that was in place.
Yeah, I feel like if that was the reason, they'd have put that out there first, though. You know, if you had forced a woman to do anything, they'd have put that out there. Because right now it's all shrouded in secrecy, and everybody's like, well, what happened? You know, why did he get a year? Why the other people didn't get suspended? So, you know, I don't think keeping it secret is going to be sustainable for the Celtics organization.
All right, so you guys heard the clip, and what I want to talk about is Angela Yee, because let's focus on her just for a moment, and then I'm going to pick this whole video apart. And not just the video, the situation, really. I'm going to pick it apart because I'm hearing so many different things. I'm seeing so many different opinions. I'm seeing so many different aspects and perspectives, and I'm definitely going to be offering mine, okay? The first thing, I am a diehard fan of The Breakfast Club. I watch this show pretty much every single day, whether it's the Rumor Reports, whether I'm watching the Donkey of the Days. Charlamagne is actually one of my favorite people on the show because he keeps it real. Sometimes I think he could be a little bit mean-spirited, but at the end of the day, he keeps it real. He seems like he's very educated. I read his book, Black Privilege. I actually need to read his other book, Shook One, but that's neither here nor there. I want to focus on Angela Yee right now. Now, as y'all know, she's leaving The Breakfast Club. Now, I used to feel sorry for Angela Yee, like, you know, DJ Envy and Charlamagne always over-talking her, you know what I'm saying, make her feel like she's not there. Maybe that's the reason why she's getting her other show. But the more and more I hear her talk, I feel like she's always protecting women. Now, as a woman, I understand that side of it. However, people still need to be held accountable for their actions. Every woman is not a fucking victim. A lot of these men are getting victimized too. Let's break this situation down. They're both staffers, Udoka and this young lady. They're both staffs on the team. He is the only one being not just scrutinized, but he's the only one that's gaining punishment from this, as far as like he has to take either he's taking a year off or just suspending him for a year from his work, his team. I'm sure that's going to be a year of suspension without pay, so that's going to be affecting his family. I believe him and Nia Long do have a child together. They had like a spiritual ceremony wedding. I don't think they're legally married, but they had like a spiritual wedding. What I'm saying is this: he is the only one, it seems like, being affected by this. Now, yes, the young lady that he was sleeping with is going to be affected because she too was also married, and I believe that her husband was the one that put the story out, or it was something surrounding that. And people always think that I'm talking about race, but this is a perfect example of why I always bring race up. Now, the young lady that he was sleeping with was white. She's not getting any punishment for this, as far as we know, as of right now. Now, we don't know if later on they're going to decide to do something to her, dock her pay. Maybe they won't bring that to the forefront of our eyes, or we won't see that. But what I'm saying is he's the one that's being punished, but they were two consenting adults that decided to have an affair, sleep with each other, whatever the case may be. And they're both staff members of this team, yet he's the only one getting penalized. And I'm not saying it's because he's black. That could be a reason, though. And just like Charlamagne said, it's like, they already don't want you there. You know what I'm saying? Don't give them a reason to take your job. You know what I'm saying? It's already hard enough for us as is. And it's like, as a black woman with Angela Yee, I don't understand why you would sit here and try to paint that narrative of this black man being, quote unquote, aggressive, or saying that he was forcing her into this, or he was using his position of power. Why are you even putting that narrative out there when the team itself, when they made the statement, they never said anything to that degree? You're talking about sources. We're talking about the facts of the team and the statement that they put out, the owners of the team. So why are you sitting here trying to paint the narrative that he was the aggressive person and that she felt like she had to do it because he was in a position of power? She's also a staff member and she's a grown adult. Nobody feels like they have to do anything. I don't want to hear about being pressurized in a situation when you're a grown-up and we make choices. You choose A or B. That's it and that's all. Nobody is forcing you. You're a grown-up. Stop sitting here trying to allow these women to get away with murder and then calling them the victim. Just because she's not receiving any punishment has nothing to do with her not doing anything wrong in this situation. She had a part to play. As long as this affair went on for, there's plenty of time she could have stopped it. And let's keep in mind, she's also married. Where's her morals? When is she going to stand up? So, Angela, you really done pissed me off, ho. I'm sorry. Like, you done made me mad as hell because I'm so sick and tired of you always making the woman out to be the victim. That's annoying. Women do shit, too. They need to be held accountable as well. And I don't like you painting that narrative, especially when this is a black and white situation. I don't want you painting that narrative that this black man is using his power to get over on this white woman. Why are you even putting that out there as the narrative? That, to me, in itself is already wrong of you. And it's like now you're playing into the hands. A lot of times, everything in this world is politics. You playing right into the politics because you about to have your little show, so you don't want to offend anybody, because I'm sure everyone's in charge of the network is of a certain race. And you want to make sure that you playing your part and showing what side that you're truly standing on. And that's infuriating and frustrating for me, Angela Yee. But you got to do better, honey, because you done made me mad. Now we done broke that side of it down, because I'm ready to get on you, Angela. But I'm going to chill. I'm going to fall back. Now let's break down what a lot of other people are saying about this situation. We already know desirability is a big deal, and a lot of the times people get away with a lot more if they're, quote-unquote, perceived as better looking or more attractive than someone else. You might not get as much punishment. You might be able to get away with a little bit more. We have to face the reality of that, because that is a fact, okay? Now, everybody's like, oh, how could he do this? This is Nia Long. Nia Long is desirable, as we all know. She's definitely one of those old school desirable people where it's like, a lot of people, what we call, like, she was the person that everybody had like a hood crush on, from her roles in Friday and The Best Man and things like that. So she is looked at as desirable. So people always are wondering, well, why is this man cheating on this beautiful young lady? You know what I'm saying? Now, we haven't seen the staff member that he cheated on her with. That's neither here nor there. Stop making everything about looks, because looks don't matter anymore. I remember when Eric Benet had cheated on Halle Berry. All that people were talking about is how could he cheat on Halle Berry? This is Halle Berry. It doesn't matter. Clearly, you understand what I'm saying? If you are not bringing that 20% of something that someone is missing, they are going to look elsewhere. There's plenty of reasons why men cheat, and it doesn't have anything to do with looks a lot of the time. So let's stop putting that out there. I get so infuriated when people think that they're above someone else or think that this can't happen. And once I put my book out, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about with that. It's like, you can't be so much on a high horse to think that this is not going to happen to you or this can't happen to you. Anything can happen to anybody. Let's be very clear. I feel sorry for her. I'm sorry that this happened to her. And if it was anybody, I would feel bad that this happened to them, especially in the public eye, and you got to explain this to your child. And there's just a lot of other elements that she has to deal with, because before she's a celebrity, she is a human being. She's still a person. She still has things that she has to deal with in her personal life, with her family, shames that she has to deal with, opinions that she has to listen to. She's being scrutinized. So yes, I would see her more so as the victim in this situation versus the other staffer that Udoka was cheating with. And that's why I'm so mad at Angela, because it's like, you making her a victim, but have you come out and spoke about Nia Long being a victim and what she has to go through and what the dynamic that this is going to cause on her family now? It's frustrating. It's infuriating. And Desirability doesn't help that, because like I said, nobody is saying the real things that are going on here. Y'all talking about how can you cheat on her? Is Nia Long? I don't even understand what that statement even means. Anybody can get it. No one is exempt. And the sooner we realize that, we won't even have to constantly keep having these same conversations that we're having about, like the Halle Berrys of the world, like the Nia Longs of the world. You know, we don't have to keep having the same, or the Megan Goods of the world. You know what I mean? Anybody that is considered in the public's eye to be a desirable person, we don't have to keep having these conversations of why and who would dare cheat on them. Because at the end of the day, things happen. Looks are not everything. I've seen plenty of people that I know I've looked better than, and not just me. I'm sure you, the viewers, have been through this too, where you felt like you were the better specimen physically to someone else, and you trying to figure out why someone else would rather be with that person. It might be something else. I was told one time I don't have any substance, which is hilarious, because I have more substance than a lot of people. If you actually get the chance to talk to me, just because I'm silly and I goof off a lot doesn't mean that I don't have any substance. You understand what I'm saying? You can't allow what somebody says about you and make that be the truth for your life. If you know yourself, that's all that matters. And back to the situation with them, there's like so many different elements going on. There's the desirability factor that people are looking. There's the fact that the woman who he was cheating with is not being penalized for this. He's a black man, she's a white woman. There's that element going on. So we have to wonder if race plays a part in the penalization that he's getting and that she is not currently experiencing. So there's a lot of factors surrounding this, and I had to come and talk about it, because we have these conversations, but we don't see anything changing. Someone once asked me, about why, black men in particular choose to deal with white women. And it's because you guys have constantly beat us down so bad that now, yes, we are going to have our guard up all the time. You know what I mean? We are going to be a little bit more aggressive. We are going to be a little bit more opinionated. But that shouldn't scare you guys away. Why would you want someone that is not going to hold you accountable? Or why would you want to deal with someone who is not holding you to a certain standard? Or why would you want to deal with someone that is not speaking up and is a yes woman? Well, I don't understand why you would prefer that versus someone that is just going to have a real conversation with you and let you know what's going to fly and what's not going to fly. You know what I'm saying? And I have no problem with preference versus discriminatory, which I said discriminatory versus discrimination. I'm definitely going to do a full video about that. But back to this, it's like, these are the reasons why black women start to feel like they're not enough. They start to feel like, what are we doing wrong that the black man is constantly dealing with an exotic person, dealing with someone of a different race, dealing with someone who is white? And like I said, there's no problem with interracial relationships, but the way that it's becoming a quote-unquote pandemic out here in these streets, I have to wonder if there's more to it than just preference, because it's not making any sense. Black women are the most unprotected race. You understand what I'm saying? We're the most unprotected woman or person or human in America. And when things like this happen, this is the reason why people like Stacey Dash has bleached their skin. This is the reason why people like Wendy Williams has bleached their skin. This is the reason why people like Lil' Kim has literally gotten a new head. She even in her interview said herself that, you know, when she saw Biggie with Faith Evans, who we all know is fair skin, lighter skin, is like she felt like she wasn't good enough. And that's what happens a lot of these times. We allow these men to make us feel like we're not good enough. No, you are good enough. Probably too good for that man. That's what it really is about. So you have to get a little bit more security with yourself and don't allow things like this to make you feel bad about yourself. Because just because you lost out doesn't mean you lost out. No, that person lost out. And Angela Yee, you painting that narrative of what you're saying about him being aggressive, or maybe the lady felt like he was in a position of power and was scared. That, you done pissed me off with that, because I that narrative is not only just wrong. You were saying sources when the team owners themselves had came out and made a different statement themselves. So why are you still trying to put that narrative out there? Is confusing to me, and it makes me wonder what your motives are. Now at this point, I'm kind of glad that you're leaving the Breakfast Club, because you done made me mad. You sound very much like you're placating this situation just because of what it is that you want to do in the future. So you want to show yourself to be on a certain side of things so that way you can get ahead. I'm not bowing down for no one. That's it, and that's all. And if that means that I have to deal with being single, or if I have to deal with men not taking me seriously or wanting to stray away, what they call the exodus of the black man from their own woman, then I'll deal with that. I don't really care. But what I'm not going to do is allow someone to make me feel like I don't matter. I'm not going to allow someone to make me feel like my opinion isn't valid. I'm not going to allow someone to make me feel like what I'm saying holds no validity just because you don't want to listen to it. It's really, 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 really starting to get ridiculous. I'm about sick and tired of having this conversation, not just about race, but sick and tired of having this conversation about desirability. I'm sick of having this conversation about all of these things that we're constantly talking about, but yet nothing is changing. To me, it's actually getting progressively worse. I'm sorry, you guys, about all that noise in the back. I'm out in my car doing this video, but I could not let this day go by without making this video, without talking about this interview, talking about her doing this rumor report, because this is just like, come on. What are we doing here? We got so many of our people against our own people, that the only race that's like that. And I'm just going to leave y'all with that. Please hit that like button and subscribe button, the notification bell, share if you care, leave a comment, tell me what it is that you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.